الليلة نختم المقدمة للباب الرابع. Tonight we will complete our preface to the fourth chapter, باب الخوف من الشرك. Yesterday we mentioned the difference between الشرك الأكبر والشرك الأصغر من جهة التعريف, in terms of how they're defined. And tonight, inshallah ta'ala, we'll mention the difference between the two, الشرك الأكبر والأصغر, in terms of the impact. And there are basically four differences. Number one, الشرك الأكبر ينقض الإيمان ويخرج صاحبه من الإسلام. So الشرك الأكبر, major idolatry, nullifies a person's iman, and it will remove the person who commits it from al-Islam. بخلاف الشرك الأصغر, as opposed to الشرك الأصغر, if a person commits it, it will not nullify his faith, but it will diminish it. It will lessen it, it will impact it. There will be an impact, but it will not totally dissolve it. That's number one. Number two, الشرك الأكبر ذنب لا يغفره الله لمن مات عليه. Major shirk is a sin that Allah will not forgive if a person dies upon it. As Allah says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْفِرَ أَن يُشْرَكَ بِهِ وَيَغْفِرُ مَا دُونَ ذَلِكَ لِمَن يَشَاءُ. Allah forgives all. He will not forgive the sin of major idolatry, but He will forgive all other sins to whomever He pleases. As opposed to a shirk al-asghar, it is forgivable. It's what they call تحت المشيئة. It is something that Allah will forgive if He will. Type number three, الشرك الأكبر الشرك الأكبر يحبط جميع الأعمال. Major shirk will nullify all of a person's good deeds. وَلَوْ أَشْرَكُوا لَحَبِطَ عَنْهُمْ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. If they committed a shirk, all of their good deeds will be nullified. As opposed to minor shirk, it will only nullify the deed it is associated with. It will only nullify. The person spends their whole life praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sincerely, and they offer one prayer, riya'an. The only prayer that will be impacted, the only deed that will be impacted will be what? That prayer that they prayed ostentatiously, showing off. But last but not least, الشرك الأكبر يوجب الخلود في النار. Major shirk will require that a person remain in the hellfire for eternity. بخلاف الشرك الأصغر, as opposed to a shirk al-asghar, if Allah decides to punish the person for committing it with the fire, they'll be appointed for an appointed term. They'll be in the fire for an appointed term that only Allah knows and He determines. And after that, they'll exit the fire and enter the paradise. And so these are the four differences between ash-shirk al-akbar wal-asghar in terms of what? The impact. The impact. And inshallah ta'ala, when we meet again, we'll begin bab al-khawf min ash-shirk, the bab that requires us being afraid, or the bab demonstrating that we are required to be afraid of a shirk. Tafadhal Hasan.
So, last time we gave two examples, shirk al-asghar, as making an oath by something other than Allah.
Al-halaf bi ghayri Allah, yeah?
Now, if somebody makes an oath, now, I mean, the reason why that's considered shirk is because, as we know, a person makes an oath by the thing that or the one that he reveres the most. So if somebody makes an oath by something that he believes he reveres more than Allah, then that person would be guilty of a shirk al-akbar.
If they really believe that, if they believed that whatever that they made halaf by or halaf with, if they believe that it was equal to Allah or superior to Allah. That would be a shirk al-akbar. Like in ghaliban, usually a person doesn't believe that, but al-lafz يعني يشعرك بأنه يعني it gives that impression, but they don't actually believe that. And one of the indications that al-halaf bighayri Allahi fi aslihi is a shirk al-asghar is that in one of the instances the Prophet ﷺ was with his companions. They were in a caravan, they were traveling somewhere. And the Prophet ﷺ was toward the rear of the caravan and he heard Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu yahlif bi abi. He heard Umar ibn Khattab swearing by his father, what abi? So the Prophet ﷺ continued to ride. He continued to ride with them. And gradually, as they continued on the journey, the Prophet worked his way to the head of the caravan. And then he said, Ya ayyuhan nas, man kana halifan, falyahlif billah. أو لا يصمت من حلف بغير الله فقد أشرك. So he said in the hadith, he came to the front and he said, "O people, whoever amongst you is going to take an oath and swear by something, let him swear by Allah. Or let him what? Be quiet. Don't swear at all. Whoever swears by other than Allah has committed shirk." The scholars of Islam, they look at this hadith and they say, if what Umar did was a shirk al-akbar, the Prophet would not have waited to what? To respond to it, to criticize it, to disapprove of it. Also, the second thing they say is he would have told Umar, Jaddid Islamic, renew your faith, renew your Islam, because what you did nullified it. So they say for these two reasons, it's an indication that al-halaf bighayri Allahi fi aslihi, in its original case, its original form, is what? Is minor shirk. Can it reach the level of major shirk in a case like what you said? It can, absolutely. But very seldom do you find a person who what? Who actually believes that, for example, they say, wal Kaaba. They don't believe that the Kaaba is what? Musawi lillah, or afdal min Allah. They don't believe that. They just what? They say it out of adama lil Kaaba, not realizing that that's not befitting except for Allah.
But if somebody commits shirk by mistake, then that person has neither done shirk asghar or akbar. They just made a mistake. Like for example, the hadith of the person who, he lost his camel and then he found it. Oh Allah, I am the Lord and you are slave. Clearly that's a statement of shirk. But he's not considered a mushrik, either akbar or asghar, because he made it by mistake. But he would be guilty of a shirk. He wouldn't be considered a mushrik if he did it by accident. His statement is shirk. But he would be guilty of a shirk. He would be guilty of it. No, he made a mistake. The Prophet said, أخطأ من الفرق. صح. لكن خطأه شرك أو ليس شركا. He himself is not mushrik. Mushrik, like in farq. We talked about this last week. Remember, we talked about this. We gave the guide and we said, يعني ليس كل من وقع في شرك وقع الشرك عليه. Not every person who commits a shirk is called or is labeled a mushrik. لكن وقع في الشرك. So why can't you make the same argument with a person who يحلف بغير الله that he وقع في الشرك ولكن لم يقع عليه الشرك because he didn't intend that. Zayn. So basically we said two things from the hadith we can take. One, we said the Prophet, he delayed al-inkar. That's one wajh dilala, that it's minor shirk. Is that the Prophet delayed al-inkar. He didn't hasten to call it out. They say there's no way the Prophet ﷺ, if it was major shirk, would have delayed in calling it out. That's the first thing. The second thing they said was he would have said to Umar, Jaddid Islamic. You say, well, he wouldn't have been guilty of what? He wouldn't be a mushrik. He wouldn't be a mushrik because what? He didn't know. Okay? So let's take that off the board. We still have what? We still have the first one. The first one, the Prophet would not have delayed al-inkar. He would not have delayed disapproving of it if it was major shirk. So that one still stands, even if we take the other one off the board. You still have the other one, which shows what? Al-halaf is what? The aslihi, it's minor shirk.
it's not major shirk. Unless what? In very exceptional cases, the person actually believed that what? He believed that whatever he swore by was equal to Allah. But even then, it will go back to what we said yesterday. What is a shirk al-akbar? A-taswiya fil i'tiqad. A person actually believes that whatever he swears by, or whatever he prays to, whatever, he actually believes it's equal to Allah.
So it's just a quick comment on what you were saying, that the person made a mistake. I think the minor sin, most of them are just a mistake as well. Like